the game being over. It appears that the Redskins getting the 5th down.
And the cat is elusive. He's walking. He's walking to the 3. He's at the 2. Fielding the cat runs into the end zone. That is a touchdown.
Snap, placement, kick by Hartley, and it is good! It's good! It's good! Pigs have flown. Hell is frozen over. The Saints are on their way to the Super Bowl.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the 5th Down. I'm the captain, and
Tootsie.
All right, everyone. Another crazy week in football.
I don't even think it's right to call it crazy at this point. I think it's just. I think at this point we just have to say, it just is. Like,
yeah,
I can't one way or the other deal with this. Stupid phone.
All right, I'm back.
I think it was loud. Anyway. Okay, so I mean, look, you got another stinker on Thursday night, and props to the Thursday night crew. Okay, they have been doing a fantastic job filling the airtime on these horrendous games.
And I feel like it's going to be 3 in a row. And I mean, we're Saints fans. That's what we always talk about. But this week with the Cardinals coming in, with the Saints coming in, the Saints are decimated on the offense. And hurt on the defense this week. Cardinals, same thing. Injuries all along the board. They just lost Marquise Brown. They do get back
DeAndre Hopkins
this week. But, how is he going to be, right? He comes in. He's able to finally come back into the facility and practice for 3 days before a game. So, what's he going to be like this week? We don't know. This game is shaping up to be the 3rd week in a row where we have either a really boring defensive type game because the Cards have a strong defense. As weak as ours has been, if they ever flip the switch and figure it out, they're a really strong defense on paper. It's everything else. And then as this is kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the parity in the league right now. You look at it, there's only about less than half the league that is really on a winning record. Everybody else is either 500 or below. You're looking at about 10 teams that have a winning record. Everyone else is, like I said, 3-3 or below. And it's kind of you're looking at the league right now, and the NFC South is a good example of this, where we're 2-4 with the Saints, but we're the next best teams are 3-3 with the Falcons and the Bucks. So our division is still up in the air.
The following teams have 4 or more wins. Buffalo with 5. Jets with 4. Okay?
Giants.
Kansas
Philly.
City Chiefs. Chargers both have 4. Philly is 6. Giants are 5. Dallas is 4. Vikings have 5 wins. 8 teams, folks.
Okay, I
6
said
weeks
10.
into the season.
Yeah.
8 teams with 4 or more wins.
8 teams with a winning record.
I think this is the parity that we were hoping the league would get to, but I didn't realize it was going to happen this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it's competitive right now, and nothing's really set in stone, because even the Giants at 5-1 is still one of those teams that you're just waiting for it to blow up on. And is it going to be this week?
But if I would have told you that it looks like all of the wild cards are going to come out of 2 of the 3 wild cards are going to come out of the NFC East, you would have laughed at me.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had the Saints and the Bucks coming out. We had the Vikings in Green Bay, and then we had Philly. We both picked Philly. That's 5, and then we had 2 coming out of the West. So I mean, that's how we originally saw it coming, and we're going to be completely wrong if things keep going the way they're going, which is not wrong. I mean,
the world champs are at 500, and they can't protect Stafford worth a damn. The Cardinals are worse off than they were last year. I think Cliff Kingsbury's on the hot seat if he loses this week. I think that he has a good chance of getting fired before the midway point.
You think before the midway? I think he makes it through the season, but I mean, I don't see him getting out
he's
of
on
this
the
season
he's on the
alive.
hot seat. He can't come out of this season. You know, I think
Unscathed, yeah.
I think Cat, stop. I think she is.
It's not an
Loving
earthquake,
the
people.
corners.
That's just the cats.
That is just the cat trying to get some attention. That little poot. Tiny, come here.
Look, it's and I mean, look, I was talking with it about, you know,
Say hi,
to
podcast.
some of my friends just on how bad it's maybe not even bad. Maybe it's just more competitive, and that's how we're seeing it. But it's just weird. It's a lot of weirdness going on, and it's not something we're used to seeing in the NFL. You're used to seeing a few teams taking off and running through. You're used to having 2 or 3 teams that are undefeated at this point, you know, ready to go. At least one headed into week 9 and 10, still undefeated, ready to take that first loss. And I don't know if the Eagles can keep on going that far. The one thing the Saints do have going for them is this is game 3 in the Bird Bowl. They win this one. They've only got 2 more to go before the end of the season, you know, to sweep the Birds in the NFL.
I think that for the Saints, it's going to be just tough because I mean we're in the toughest part of the schedule.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Those early games.
Going to be
those early games we had to win. You know, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4.
Yeah,
and it's not happening. It's not coming together. Look, Taysom's back. The backups did a phenomenal job last week. We just couldn't sustain and finish those drives with touchdowns.
I mean, you're 2 minutes away from winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, you are right. And credit to Cincinnati fighting back. You know, they could have given up, but they chose not to. And look, that shows that they're. You know, they just needed to put those pieces together and they need to figure out what to do because Joe Burrow is the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL behind Matt Stafford, right? So,
yeah,
you know, he's getting beat up too. And, you know, that's the Saints' problem too, is offensive line, right? It's just all these things. And then God knows what's going on.
We can't keep one alive. I mean, it's, you know, is Trevor Penix still going to come back this season? We get to see him take a snap this year. Andrews Pete's out again.
I don't know if Penning's out for the season. I think.
You know, it's just like every time somebody looks to be getting some sort of health for the Saints squad, something happens and another injury takes place. And I forgot to turn this on. Another injury happens, and, you know, we're looking at just, like I said, it's just a weird situation in the league right now. I'm confused. I can't pick winners. You know, I went what I told you, 2-2 this week.
So you went 2-2.
You know, you went 4-0.
I went 4-0, so I made a nice little chunk of change. So that should fund my not quite gambling problem yet for the rest of the season.
Well, I need to find a way to fund mine because it's not happening. Maybe basketball will be my key.
I mean, you can try. It's just, you know.
I did good with basketball last year, but
you know.
Yeah, it's just odd, man, and you know, and I think we're seeing the end of two quarterbacks in the league right now. You know, I think you're going to see the end of Aaron Rodgers and possibly the end of Tom Brady, depending on what's going to happen.
Russell Wilson is looking done too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about him. I mean, you want to forget about him after watching him in like every freaking primetime game they have. The Broncos are playing, so I don't even get that. I wish they would hurry and flex some games around. But
I think for the Broncos, I mean, the coaching staff just isn't. I
mean, I was listening to Bobby and Deke talk about this today, and I really think that when it came to the Vikings, not the Vikings, I'm sorry, the Broncos with Nathaniel Hackett and everything else, what they really planned on was getting Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay, getting him out of Green Bay and over there, because that, you know, he was the Packers offensive coordinator. They kind of brought him in to entice Aaron Rodgers to leave Green Bay, and then, you know, he signed that deal with Green Bay, and that blew that all up. And then they went after who we thought would be good. I mean, we were kind of hoping the Saints might even make a move on Russ. You know, I'm glad we didn't, because I mean, I we're not any better with what we have, but I mean, we wouldn't be.
He is looking
you know.
completely shook. He is looking completely not Russell Wilson. You know, either he's done or the system is just that bad, and
Yeah.
the team can't gel worth a shit. I don't know what's going on. And I mean, you want to
Well-
talk about? Look, Hackett's on the hot seat.
Well, I feel like
You don't-
Hackett is
you don't
trying to
s-
run Green Bay's
You don't
offense
spend that much money.
in Denver. You know,
Yeah, you can't.
and maybe
You don't
Russ doesn't have that skills to pull that Aaron Rodgers stuff off. You know, I mean, is he a product of really good defenses? You know, is that what made him so good all
Yes.
these years in the past? Was that he was always behind the Legion of Boom? He always had a really good defense to fall
Yeah.
back on. So if he shit the bed, it kind of went unnoticed because they still won the game.
Yeah,
You know,
but his numbers were always, you know, I mean, do you think he's made the Pro Bowl every year?
Yeah,
You know,
Pro Bowl doesn't mean jack.
It
You know?
doesn't, but you got to have at least the numbers to get there. So
No, you have
Whatever.
to have a fan base to get there. Mitch Trubisky made it to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay,
Well, there's
so well I know, but I mean in years past he made it to
R.I.P.
the Pro Bowl. So I mean if Mitch Trubisky can do it, anyone can do it. You just got to be likable,
yeah.
you know. But I mean, look, we can keep on talking about it. It was a weird ass week again, right? I mean, let me pop on those scores and see. So you had
Falcons beat the 49ers, so
Yeah.
there goes some more craziness. Jimmy Garoppolo, look, 300 yards and a touchdown, you still lose. That defense was playing lights out. And look, credit to the Falcons. They are the big surprise this year. Out of all the surprise teams, like the Falcons, the Jets, and the Giants, right? Just
yeah.
blowing it away. Patriots with Benny Zapp. We're going to Zappy? You want to zap Bailey Zappi?
Yeah, Bailey Zappi, the new Tom Brady, right?
I guess. Sure.
I mean, does that make God? I can't remember his name now. We replaced him that fast. Does that make Mac Jones like the old, the new Drew Bledsoe?
I guess,
he
but
gets hurt
I
and
just
Billy Zappi comes in and they go on a little winning streak here.
yeah, you know, look,
You know?
Stevenson's running pretty good for him. Oof. Hey, New England does what New England does, right? It's Bill Belichick. He'll get that program right no matter what.
Yeah.
Packers just got demolished by the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is at the point where it's like I think his top receiver was Robert Tonyan, who got like 90 yards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the Packers' problem is I think Aaron Rodgers' strength was in his hair, kind of like Samson, right? So he took that crazy ass haircut that he got, and now he can't do anything.
You know what? That's as good as explanation as any.
That's
I
the
find
only way
your
to
argument-
explain it.
I find your argument persuasive, sir.
Yeah, there's no fault. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. You get a crazy ass haircut and you can't play football anymore.
I think of all the people that I thought were going to struggle this year, Aaron Rodgers, I thought he was going to have a little issues, but still just put up silly numbers because of garbage time, right? And here he is. The guy has just not. I mean, the cupboard is bare is nice at this point, right? Like,
I mean, the shock of the week.
His QBR is 38.4.
Yeah.
He has 1,400 passing yards and 9 touchdowns in 6 games. What?
Yeah. And I mean, look, the other shocker this week, right, is Pittsburgh taking down Tampa Bay. I mean,
Yeah.
even Tampa Bay, hurt like they are, should have been able to roll over Pittsburgh. I mean,
Yep.
Pittsburgh's on a bad downward spiral right now with Kenny Pickett, and they had to go back to Mitch Trubisky this week because of concussion on Pickett. And it's just like I feel like they were forced to make that move on to Kenny Pickett, and that's going to be the downfall. Could possibly be the downfall of Mike Tomlin. I know the Steelers kind of stick around and they don't really jump on firing head coaches. What they had like 3 in the past like 50 years, something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah, it's been.
But I mean, you could see Mike Tomlin just on a slow decline the last few years. You know, watching as Big Ben declined, so did the skills of Pittsburgh. You know, and you know, is this the year that Tomlin finally gets the axe for his things? You know,
Okay.
for his past.
So since 1969. 1969. Okay,
So that's
a very
59
long
years.
freaking time. Yeah. Okay.
I can't do math. It's even longer than that.
You had Chuck Noll from 69 to 91, Bill Cowher from 92 to 2006, and Mike Tomlin from 2007 to present. So Mike Tomlin has, I think, coming up on what, 2007? This is 2022, 2023. So yeah, like 15 years. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, but like I said, they've been on that steady decline. I don't see them firing him right now. I don't. So I mean, there'll probably be people that are calling for it by the end of the year, like, oh, you need to fire Mike Tomlin. Look, the reason the Steelers have always been relevant in the past 20 years, 30 years, even if you want to go back to Bill Cowher, is that they have that stability. They're not switching out coaches every other year. They're not, you know, doing that.
Mike Tomlin has better career numbers than Cowher.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't see it coming down to that. I think when it's time, I think it's when Mike Tomlin's going to step away from the game, and it's not going to be the Steelers stepping away from Mike Tomlin.
No, yeah, Tomlin gets to pick his destiny at this point.
You know, kind of like Sean Payton. You know, he was able to step away when he was ready to step away from the Saints. And boy, did he get out at the right time.
I just, you know, you see that it's time for the team to take a new road. It's time for a team to take a new identity. The Steelers have just always had that identity of tough as nails defense, great
strong
running
game,
and just somehow
serviceable
finding not even serviceable, dude. Some of the best receivers in the league. Like you always had 2 number 1 guys there. You always had 2 number 1 guys there. And maybe it was the Antonio Brown thing where it kind of like, you know, because you had Antonio and Juju for a second, then it was Juju, and then Deontay Johnson started showing up, and Chase Claypool popped up. Then they traded Juju. You know, Deontay is a great receiver. I mean, you're looking at a guy who gets double-digit targets every week. Doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, but they got to catch it.
Phenomenal catcher.
And no, I wouldn't go phenomenal right now. That's the problem on the Steelers right now. There's a lot of people that are
it's way more a quarterback play than it is on receiver.
Okay, but they'll go back and they'll toast Trubisky. But if you got 7 drops in a game, you know you're dropping seven balls that were in your hands or catchable that you just let go, and that gives you up. That doesn't give you touchdowns. That gives you up on first downs. That drive killing plays. You know, all it takes is two plays to flip a game. You know, you see it every week with the refs when they make a bad call. All it takes is that one bad call to flip the game. Same thing. All it takes is one drop pass by a receiver to not get a first down or to not score in the red zone, and that can change the game. You saw it with the Saints and the Bengals this week, right? I mean, not converting in the red zone because of drop passes or, just bad play by the offensive line or something. Somebody did something to stop us from putting that ball in the end zone. And you settle for field goals, and that's just not enough, especially against a team like the Bengals who can do it at any time, right? You can, Burrow can drop it to Chase.
They were in the Super Bowl. They were in the Super Bowl last year.
I
mean, it's not like you're playing a bad team. This is one of the toughest games.
That's all it takes is one play.
One play.
And everybody says it shouldn't come down to one play. It shouldn't come down to one bad call.
Well, look,
it shouldn't come down to one drop.
That's
the parity in the NFL.
When you can't convert these long drives into touchdowns, and you got to settle for 3. And look, you've got to. If we convert one of those field goals into a touchdown, we win.
Yeah.
And that's that. Look, Steelers,
not to mention
the Bucks. I mean, Tom Brady is looking like divorce is affecting him.
He's letting his personal life into his professional career.
Well, look, if
And
you're married to somebody for that long,
I mean, look, I get it. I understand. I'm not saying it. It just proves he's human.
fault it. I can't fault it.
You know, it proves
it
he's human.
shows he is human. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that's not good for the Bucks. Which, like I said at the beginning of the stream, is that it's good for us being where we're at right now in the league. You know, if we can figure something out and turn something on, it's still our division to take. It's still up in the air. It's not settled at this point. You know, you're not looking like with the Philadelphia being 6-0, you know, primed to go 7-0 by the end of the week. You know, it's just you're not looking like that.
The surprise for us, and you know, the Panthers are about the Panthers are where I thought the Falcons would be.
Yes, the Falcons have won a few more games than I thought they would.
A few. They're 3-3.
Well, they're 3-3. Exactly. They won a few more games than I thought they would. They won 3 games. They won a few more than I thought they would. I really did expect the Falcons to be like the 1-5 team at this point in time, or the 2-4, where we are at. You know, I really expected them to be down at the bottom of the division where we are, and I didn't see it playing out this way. I mean, you go on paper, the Saints have probably one of the best put together rosters in the NFL, but it's not translating on the field. So that, to me, that has to be coaching. But I don't want to see us throw away this opportunity with Dennis Allen, you know, as the head coach. I don't want that to go away. I don't want, you know, those changes to be made at this point, because like we said already, with the Steelers, you see that stability can lead to something in the future, and flip-flopping coaches and changing coaches turns you into the Browns.
Yeah. What can you do?
Look, that's enough about that. The league is weird. It's crazy. It's going to continue to be weird and crazy through this week.
Okay, let's talk about the games that I really enjoyed, okay? Bills-Chiefs was everything it was built to be, okay?
Yes.
It was way more defense than I thought it was going to be, and I loved every second of it.
Well, both those teams spent a lot of money this year pumping up those defenses.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it shows. And look,
yeah,
to see Josh Allen come away with that win and the Bills, all my Bills fans out there that I know, they go Bills Mafia. I mean, look.
I'm going to throw somebody through a table for you.
Exactly. And then the Chargers-Broncos game, I thought that was a really good game.
Yes and no. I think that game goes down in the record books for most attempted passes with no touchdowns.
I want to say that, yes. 57 passes.
No passing touchdown.
Herbert, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is still struggling without Keenan Allen.
Look, but they usually put one in the air, a little off an echo thing. But that shows you that the Broncos defense is legit compared to their offense, which is.
I mean, when Austin Eckler,
they're this piece of paper right here. I mean, you know, that's their defense. It's nothing. I mean, their offense is just forget about it. You know, why even have it? You know, Russell Wilson, let's cook. You know, come on, man.
If 28 passes, 15 completions on 28 passes for 180 yards on a touchdown, he doesn't get anything going in the running game. Denver commits what? They lost 3 turnovers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, again, the turnover battle. That's where that game was won and lost. You know, Denver was -2.
Yeah. And so,
I have never seen the turnover battle matter this much in football. Like,
well,
I know
it's every game. It's like every game right now.
But like even a 1, it makes a difference, right? Usually it's like when you're -3, oh yeah, they lost, right?
Yeah.
And they're -1, oh, you can come back from that. Like, no, -1's, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe just defense is getting. I think defenses are getting better at stripping. I have noticed that this year. I'm seeing a lot more punch outs. I'm seeing a lot more good square shoulder hits right into the ball, and it's popping them out, right? There's a lot of ripping. There's a lot better ripping.
they're being trained to hit lower now, right? So they can't hit above
maybe
the shoulder.
That's what it
so
is.
now they're hitting lower. So maybe that's the key. But I mean, really, to me, the real monster in that game was Dustin Hopkins, right? I mean, the dude, I think he had a quad injury or something like that.
Yes, he hurt his leg and still kicked a 62-yarder that would have gone for 70.
You know, he came out and he would kick and he would fall down after the kick because he had no stability left in his leg to keep him up. And I mean, you know, you'll look at Pat McAfee and, you know, he's a kicker himself. And, you know, he gives Dustin Hopkins a lot of credit for everything he did this week. So that just shows you that, you know, game recognizes game. You know, if you're gonna get a shout out from Pat McAfee, then you did your thing. You know, so Dustin Hopkins, you're not gonna see him this week at all. Apparently, they need a new kicker. Speaking of kickers, Rodrigo Blankenship, my guy, he's back. He's playing for the Cardinals this week, so we get to see him tomorrow night playing. But I mean, you know, what else?
I mean, look, it's just been a weird year, right? Cowboys went down about what I expected. The Eagles' defenses showed
it was time. It was time for them to take a loss. I mean, Cooper Rush.
I don't disagree with you.
He outplayed his abilities to keep that team relevant while Dak Prescott's out.
Yeah, 3 picks, and honestly, 2 of those were not his fault. Just some good defense, batted up. You know, couple of block passes, went into the air.
I think Dak would have had those 3 picks also. I mean, I don't think when it comes down to skill wise and stuff, and maybe we're just not giving Dak Prescott enough credit, but I feel like they're on the same level, Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott. I feel like you got the same guy, regardless of what you have going on. It's just a different number for the same exact quarterback.
Philly has had no sacks in this game. 4 QB hits, 12 passes defended. That's phenomenal.
Well, that's awesome defensive. I mean, that's awesome offensive line play.
And look,
that keeps
Darius
your quarterback
Slay
upright.
and look, C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting his interceptions. And we missed that dude.
Look, still on paper, I mean, you could say it all day. On paper, the Saints have the defense, but I don't. It just hasn't shown up.
We're like 17th right now when we were 7th at this point last year.
It just hasn't shown up.
It's not looking good. It's miscommunications, missed tackles.
Yeah.
A couple of 1 or 2 blown coverages that those offenses are just taking advantage of when it happens. You know, there's not much you can really do about it.
All right, so let's move on to our picks.
Yep.
Like we said, that we both already updated this, little guy, so you don't have to here. I went 2-2 last week, and Tucci went 4-0, which brings us to a tied score of 15-19.
15-9.
15-9. I'm sorry, that's 24 overall games. I did the math on it; it works. We're just tied now.
He did it on paper too, folks. He did it on paper.
I always write it down because I always forget to bet it until the last minute. All right, so my games this week, I picked the Titans over the Colts, the Chiefs over the Niners, the Bengals over the Falcons, and the Giants over the Jags.
Yep. I am going to take Miami over Pittsburgh, Baltimore over Cleveland, Dallas over Detroit, and the Chargers over the Seahawks. I know that's probably a trap, but we'll see. I think Seattle showed a little bit of cracks this week, but they were up against a pretty good defense. So that I guess that was the other surprise, was Seattle coming back down to earth. But
but Seattle actually being where they're at right now is actually
it's still great.
Surprise. You know,
Geno Smith is playing lights out. I feel like this is the Geno Smith that could have existed had he not been stuck in New York after being drafted. Maybe
drafted by the right guy, right team, sat down a few years behind the right person.
He needed maturity.
You know, yeah.
And when you can't, and we've seen what New York does to players, right?
But I mean, you see that
both teams.
You see that with first round picks all the time, though. I mean, overall number one overall picks that go to the crap team. That crap team always needs a quarterback. It's usually a quarterback, and the quarterback usually fails because he's not ready for that transition from college to pro ball without sitting behind somebody long enough. And I think the 49ers made the move on Trey Lance too fast. I think you have Pickett in Pittsburgh. They're making a move too fast on him. Last year we had how many rookie quarterbacks start? That might have been a record last year if I can remember right. The only one who really in recent memory that transitioned into pro ball from right out the bat was Joe Burrow. And he missed most of his first season, so really last year was kind of like his rookie year, and he took his team to the Super Bowl. That's not something you see on a normal situation here. Even Peyton Manning, when he came into the league, he struggled. He had 2 or 3 years before they put a winning record together to do it. So just like quarterbacks, if you move on, just like I said with coaches, if you move on from your quarterback fast enough, you don't get to really see what they do, and then those quarterbacks end up as journeyman backups, and you see Geno Smith and you see I can't think of his name in Atlanta, Marcus Mariota getting another shot to do a starting quarterback gig, and they're actually playing good so far this year. So
I think it's settling out, so we kind of know what to look for now. I'm really happy for Jets and Giants fans. Like, this has been a long time coming to start this well for them.
Yeah, but I'm not happy for Saints fans.
And look, let's not. I don't even talk about it, right? And then Eagles, they haven't looked this good since a while.
Yeah, but look, I mean, it's a long season. We're 7 games in the 18-week season. We're in the week 7 now, so we got 11 more weeks of football after this. So 12 more weeks of football as a whole right now, kicking off tomorrow. So a lot can change in that time. Like, we're talking about just, we only have 8 teams with winning records, and that's going to change. I mean, there's a lot of football left to be played this season. I think, you'll see a lot of jogging around on that, and maybe we'll breach into that a little more next week when we have a little more time to actually do some prep and get and get it figured out for a Tuesday evening instead of a quick show on a Wednesday. But
thank you guys always for watching. Appreciate it. Do the usual thing.
Like, share, subscribe, find us on there. I was trying to make a graphic with everywhere we're at, and I'm gonna put it somewhere around right there if I can ever figure out how to do it. Where you can find us at. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Anchor. You can find us there for podcast needs. If you don't want to look at us, which I don't blame you. Every week we stream live on Facebook, Twitch, and our YouTube channel. You can find us there. I try to post a little bit on TikTok. You can look for me there. That's about it, man. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm good too. We will be don't punch opposing fans as they rush the field.
Yes.
Or photographers.
Yeah.
Just
or random guys in elevators at casinos. So that's all we got. So we'll catch up with y'all next week. Hopefully on Tuesday again.
Stupid.
But all right, guys.
Love you guys. Bye.